Well, then the next question is, how can we, evaluate the so-called necessity principle? We're trying to say that whether those SaaS providers, whether the SaaS provider has no server in China will be sufficient to convince CAC to exempt our CBD activity. One very important factor is so-called necessity principle. Even we don't discuss about exemption scenarios, in each of the security assessment or SEC finding or certification, we should evaluate the necessity of cross-border transfer. But how to decide the necessity of cross-border transfer? I will take the HR, the human resource management as one example. In our precedent, the CAC considered that the China subsidiary transferring the candidate information from China to US will be unnecessary. Actually, I was surprised by this conclusion. I suppose that the candidates could be our possible employee, and definitely if the global HR department would like to, provide a general principle of employment within the group, it might be necessary to have all those candidates' information, right? So I'm trying to discuss with the CAC. Apparently, the CAC actually to some extent they buy in this argument. But their argument would be, I know that your company may have these global standards. You have to maintain your employment level. You do have same standards. I understand that. But if you only have like 15 employees in China, but you transfer, like for example, 50,000 candidate information out of China, well, comparing to the employee number, the number of your candidates, the volume of candidate number, the volume of candidate information is too large and will be considered as an unnecessary. The reason I trying to present this example is to provide you a general principle of how to evaluate the necessity test in practice. So the CAC will evaluate necessity principle on a case-by-case basis. So you should convince them that first, how this cross-border transfer will benefit the interest of this individual. Second, compare such behavior to the other market players. And third, in your document, you should say that the consequence if the CAC prohibit such behavior, whether it will provide more burden to the business or whether it somehow jeopardize the interest of the candidate, of the individual. If you have done that, you do have the opportunity to convince the CAC.